Greetings, Solarstrike here, and today we are here to upgrade the Windows 98 computer. As you saw in the last video, this machine can prove more than capable on its own, but we still have some serious limitations when it comes to the GPU and especially the memory. So what we have got upgraded here is a Quadro FX 1100. This card is from 2003, and it is a much more powerful card than the GeForce 2 MX that I previously had in there. It is the workstation equivalent of the GeForce FX 5700, although it came a bit later than when it initially launched, in July of 2004. Anyways, let's fire this machine up and see what it's like with the new video card. Alright, we've got a different version of the post this time. Now it looks a bit clearer. Oh, that's because I had to mess with that. We've got a clearer digital signal now that we have the Quadro, because we've got a DVI connection instead of a VGA one. So we've got a much more clearer signal in the BIOS now. And as you can see, there's our video card. Now, since the last video, I have elected to install Windows 2000 since my 98 install didn't really handle well too. Let's just say it kind of fell apart in 1,000 pieces and I wanted to try something else. Plus, you guys really seem to like Windows 2000 whenever I showcase it in my videos. So, figured time to revisit Windows 2000. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's because I have a USB flash drive that's hooked into this. We've got a login. This has been patched up all the way to the final version of each and every one of the libraries. And also, as you can tell, I have already installed all the drivers and all of the relevant software for this video. It's nice that we finally have it. We finally have a more appropriate or more powerful GPU on this thing. And I forgot to disable this on startup, but yes, this is EAX powered. Just kind of goes to show how these upgrades are like. Anyways, you can see that I have already installed Quake 3 Arena on this, and we will get back to that. But first, let's do a game that I meant to show off in the last video, but I couldn't. And that, of course, is the original Unreal, more specifically Unreal Gold. So, anyways, let's start with the direct 3D render. It's the FX series' infamous implementation of DX9, which is very problematic to say the least, but we probably won't be showing it off just yet. Anyways, let us turn the settings up to the maximum here. That's as good as we're gonna get, I guess. We are using the Unreal Gold version, in case you're curious, so let us see what the benchmark says. Only just north of 38 frames a second. That's a little disappointing, but hey, we're on max settings, so it's a start at least. It's definitely an improvement over what the GeForce 2 would be. Anyways, yeah. I have also installed nGlide on this system, so we have a glide wrapper that I have installed on this computer. And despite the system mentioning Windows XP as the minimum supported, this actually does run on Windows 2000, which is interesting. Anyways, we're gonna go into glide mode, if I can do that. Let's see how it does. Will it work? Oh! There we go. We are now, we've got the 3DFX splash screen. And can we see our flying castle? Oh boy, that's a lot. That felt a lot slower, but let's see what the benchmark provides us with. Yikes, that is a lot of stuttering. So yeah, as you can see in this benchmark, we only have, well, this is kicking and screaming to get into the finish line here. We only have 6 frames a second, and it is a really bad stutter, so I'm not even going to call this usable. So N-Glide technically works, but unfortunately its performance is just too lacking on this configuration for it to even matter. So we will call N-Glide A and X. So that N-Glide result was pretty disappointing, but let's try an OpenGL game, which is one of the strengths of NVIDIA cards. So let us get into Quake 3 Arena. Alright, I have maxed out the settings here as well, as you can see right there. And we will see what we get in the... What the... That looks weird. Anyways, let's see what we get in the time demo benchmark. We get 71.5 frames a second. But now, let's upgrade the memory so that we can try to see if we can get even higher a performance. Next, I want to upgrade the memory. And what I've got here is a whole gigabyte of PC133 SD RAM. We've got 4 sticks of 256 megabytes. But 440BX has a chipset limitation. Namely, you see these chips on the front? Well, they're on the back too. This is a low density memory stick. 256 megabytes of high density memory, and anything above that won't work on the 440BX chipset. So that's why there's low density modules, just so you can ensure backwards compatibility. Either way, it's an 8 times increase from the original 128 megabytes. So we'll really be seeing some bottlenecks being resolved here. Alright, let's upgrade our memory. So let's take out the 128 megs, which we've got right here. It's in a pacer stick, so. Okay, we've got all 4 sticks here, so let's get to installing them all. there we are. 4 sticks of 256 megabytes of memory. So anyways, let's get this machine fired up. See if we can recognize all gig of it. Booting it up. And alright, we have the full megabyte, or we've got we're counting up a little more than we did the last one. Don't have the full gig yet. Okay, we've got the full gig. Although 433 megahertz, that seems to be a weird issue. I just need to update this BIOS, but I just don't have any spare floppies at the moment, which is kind of weird, but it's true. So as you can tell, the memory counts a lot faster now. So anyways, there you go. Like, that's our full gigabyte. And now we will be booting back into Windows 90 or Windows 2000. We're now getting into the desktop, and let us see if we can. Let's see all the memory. Let's take a look at this. Yes, yes, sir. All 1 gig of it. It is very, very pleasant to see. So, yeah. So let's check back in on Unreal Gold and see if it performed anything. We already have a smoother 3D effects logo, but let's get back into the time demo for the glide mode and see if anything has improved. Anyways, as you will see in the benchmark right here, we have 20.4 frames a second, but it is a lot more usable now thanks to the stutters being gone. So yes, yes, Glide Unreal is feasible on this system. Is it practical? Not really, but it's possible. Alright, now we are going to be testing with 1 gigabyte of memory. Here we go. We are at 72.5 frames a second. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. But either way, as you can tell, it's a lot better than that GeForce 2 MX, if I do say so myself. Anyways, now that we have some upgrades installed on this system, I want to try something a little unorthodox. Namely, I want to run some newer software, and that involves a newer OS. But I don't want to just run Windows XP though. It'll run great with this hardware, given that this driver is from 2008. Yes, 2008. I want to try something much more newer. So let's restart this computer and see. Let's see what we've got on this DVD I have just inserted into the drive. But let's see if it works. As you can see, we've got a loading bar here. Some of you may have already figured what this is. If not, you will find out in a second. That's right. If you still have not recognized it yet, that was none other than the Windows 7 boot screen. And yes, this machine is perfectly capable of running Windows 7, or at least it should be. Now, for those that pay attention to system requirements, you may find that you might be objecting to this, given that we only have a 650 megahertz processor, and Windows 7 requires a 1 gigahertz processor. Luckily, this is not really a hard recommendation. This is not a hard limit. And in fact, you can install on lower end processors like lower spec Pentium 3s, or believe it or not, even 133 megahertz Pentiums. Yes, original Pentiums running this operating system. The only hard limitation for processors is you need to have ACPI support in your motherboard, and it will boot into Vista and by proxy Windows 7. We've even got Windows 7 Ultimate Service Pack 1 on this machine, on this desk. And yes, you can in fact do that. I'm going to say goodbye to our Windows 2000 partition, and instead we're going to put Windows 7 on it. It's pretty amazing that you can get an operating system of this new onto a computer this old, but hey, Microsoft intended it as sort of an edge case. But yes, the other requirements you need is a DirectX 9 compatible graphics card and 512 megabytes of memory, or a gig in Windows 7's case. Those are the only other hard limitations you have, well, besides the space and the DVD drive, of course. But anyways, I'm going to leave the camera rolling, and I'm going to let it install. So I will see you when it restarts. It has been about 15 minutes since the last clip. We are going to be restarting in just probably a few minutes now. And we will go and enter the second stage of the Windows 7 setup process, which we will do in a minute. Yeah, here we go. I'm about to restart, hopefully. And just so you know, it will be freezing. We've got a moving mouse here. Alright, let's restart and see what we got. We are now updating the registry settings, so we're going through that too before we get into the second part of the screen. Here we are. Starting services. Hopefully we don't have too much longer now. Alright. That was weird. Alright, we are in the final stage of install now, so we'll be getting our user information shortly. 10-second restart. On right now. After another 10 minutes of waiting. Preparing your computer for first use. Oh yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. Checking video performance. Better check this video card, like to see how it handles things in Windows 7. Alright, we are finally on the info screen, so W7P3 says slot 1. So, yeah, almost after 40 minutes of getting everything set up, we finally hit the right time for things. So here we are. Let's see if we can get this settings finalized. There we have it. We are now officially on the Windows 7 desktop. Whew, that must have been a long time coming. It was a long time coming, but it's been almost an hour since I set this up, but we are here. And really, I thought it would be even worse, but it still works, so we've got something here. Let's see how it handles. Actually, no, let's not do that yet. And as you can see from a usability standpoint, it runs okay, I guess. If we run Mahjong Titans, we get a warning. For software stuff, but as you can see, this is not running well at all. So being in software, and we're on a much older platform, this is not running quite as nicely as, say, even a Core 2 Duo, or maybe even a later end Pentium 4. But I have come with a solution for that. You see, the Quadro FX 1100, like with most of the FX series, did feature preliminary support for Windows Vista Aero effects. So, why am I mentioning Windows Vista? Well, the NT version for Windows 7 is version 6.1. Vista's is 6.0. And traditionally, Windows Vista drivers have handled well under 7. However, this may not be a universal rule, so we will see how it responds to it. So I will be back with the driver. Alright, I am back with the driver on this USB flash stick. So anyways, it is worth noting that the Windows Vista driver for the FX series was released in October 2006 with Foursquare 96 something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you'll see it in a second. However, Windows Vista RTM'd in November of 2006. So these drivers technically did not come out before until they were only certified for very late in Windows Vista's development. So there's a good hunch they work, but don't rule out the possibility it doesn't work though. So if it can even see the flash drive in question. There it is. 9685. So these were preliminary Aero support for. So these were preliminary FX drivers for the Aero effects on GeForce FX cards, including our Quadro 1100 here. Technically, it's not really supposed to be, it was not officially supported under such a configuration, but we will see if it works here. And hopefully, we might just get lucky. Driver install is now complete. Yes, I will restart my computer. And this is gonna take a hot minute. Well, we got a smaller mouse cursor this time, so it's a good sign. We got the native resolution of the monitor, so that's even better. But are the Aero effects enabled? It'll be faded, so there's that. Obviously, since we don't have a network connection, we don't have any way to update this, but we've at least got more effects here. Now let's see if we can enable the Aero theme here. And if we can, that would be amazing. We can see the Aero themes, so let's try it out. Okay, that was weird. Yes! We can indeed run Windows Aero on a 1999 platform. Look at this. Like, that is just amazing what this system can do. As you can see, there's like transparency effects right there. That's amazing for this machine. Like, I really didn't know what to expect. So 1 gigabyte of memory, 652 megahertz. This Service Pack 1, Windows 7 Ultimate, and let's run the WinSAT, or the Windows Index experience. See how hard the damage is. think we are finishing up this test after a lot of time passed. As you can see, we have a 1.0 in the base score, which is really only held back by our processor, as our graphics and gaming graphics are a little above 2.5, and our hard disk is actually like almost 4.2, so actually pretty decent. But our memory is around just 1.6. But really our bottleneck is the processor, which that's fine. I kind of expected it to be the processor. But I'm surprised the hard disk scored that high. But that took a very long time to happen, but let's see how Mahjong Titan runs before we go. Well, that opened a lot better. Let's see how it renders the full effect. So yeah, that will do it for today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I will hope to see you guys in the next video. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.